Well, what up guys, JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another video. So today's video is actually a review on a brand new film that I just saw called The Final Wish. I just saw it in the theater. I normally record videos like right outside the theater, after I see it with Carly. You guys have seen those. I tried to do that tonight and my phone, the video got messed up, so I tried to record it again, but the battery was dying and I just couldn't do it, so I had to wait till I came home. But this is still, fresh viewing thoughts. I just saw the movie a couple hours ago, and I wanted to do a review on it. So this film, you might not be too familiar with it because it isn't showing everywhere, and in fact, it's part of one of those Fathom event things where it's essentially a one-night screening, one show time across different cities. If you miss it, you miss it. Those things are kind of hard to keep track of. There's not a huge marketing behind them, so when they do happen, you usually don't know about it, or it already happened by the time you find out. But this one in particular, I did know about, and I did decide to go check this out. I saw it at the same theater that the Fathom event for Rob Zombie's 31 happened, and that was a couple of years ago. I think that's the last time I did one of these things. So I caught the screening. It's a film, I believe it was written by one of the guys who worked on the Final Destination films, and the producer was also somebody who produced a lot of the Final Destination films. Starring Lin Shaye and Tony Todd, but I would say it's more featuring Tony Todd because he doesn't have a huge role in it. Follows this kid who, not kid, older dude, who is in Chicago wanting to become a lawyer, and he's trying, but he's failing. And he gets a call that his father has died, so he goes back to his hometown, meets old friends, digs up old relationships, past girlfriend, past, guy that he didn't like who's now dating the girlfriend, and, stuff with his mother. They don't really get along so much. She feels like he abandoned them. Meanwhile, he's, constantly getting this stuff thrown in his face, how much of a failure he is because he's not actually realizing his lawyer dreams. And then, basically, it's a be careful what you wish for film. I'm not spoiling anything. There's essentially an urn in the film that the character is in possession of. It was his father's. And he makes wishes, and they come true. But like most, films, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you wish for. It's a genie film. There's a djinn involved. But the problem with the film, the biggest problem with the film is it's super messy. One, to just start off right away, I do think that it started off good, but the first main problem is that this character finds out about this urn and its powers, and it's completely ridiculous. Like, it is insane. I'm like thinking that there's a scene missing. Like, where is the exposition in which the character finds out that this urn is haunted or has a djinn in it or whatever? Because his friend mentions, oh, that urn sitting over there is kind of creepy. Next thing you know, the kid, puts together that these wishes are coming true, and he's like, it must be this weird urn. But here's the thing, is there was a bunch of antiques, and why would you just think that it was that urn? It just makes no sense. I was actually completely surprised. I couldn't believe it. I was like, did I miss something? Because it just didn't seem like that would be something you would put in your movie. Like, you would know, like, okay, I have to explain this. I have to show the character finding out about this urn through some way. Maybe it glows, maybe anything. But they didn't do that. The next missteps come in the form of just storytelling. It is just messy storytelling. They don't establish the rules correctly. They don't, really follow any set rules. You're trying to figure out, like, okay, how is this happening? Like, why did this happen? It's just really damn messy with this film. There are two great scenes, in my opinion, which is surprising because the movie isn't that good, honestly, but it has two really good scenes. One involves a scare with his mother. Another involves a reveal about one of the people that he's talking to. That is actually pretty good. Like, those scenes were pretty good. Lin Shaye kills it as usual. I've said this before, I'll say it again. She is an unsung hero of horror. I think Lin Shaye is an amazing part of horror, and she should be, more celebrated in the genre because she is a scream queen to a lesser extent than like a Jamie Lee Curtis or a Tiffany Shepis or, Adrienne Barbeau, or anybody who was like, I guess, a little bit more sexualized, like maybe a teen, when they were, started making movies. Lynn Shay didn't get into horror or even films until her like 40s with Nightmare on Elm Street. So she's in her 70s now, and she's still doing an amazing job. She does a good job in this film. Unfortunately, the content just was bad for her. It was badly written. It just didn't have a lot of I guess structure to it. It just felt messy. It felt like the final act was just really weird and didn't really feel like it was hammered out or fleshed out. And I can't even like think about all the just awkward scenes that were in there. It just seemed like there was, to put it this way, I like felt bad for the people involved, because I like Lynn Shay and I like some of the people involved. Tony Todd, he does good too, but I bet you can guess what Tony Todd's part is. There's a lamp or a urn, and eventually they found out more about the urn. If you guessed that Tony Todd was the one that was explaining the backstory of the urn, then you probably guessed right, because of course that's what he's doing. It feels a lot like a Final Destination. It's funny that they, were involved in those. So, yeah, but it was like kind of painful. The acting was pretty spotty. It just seemed like the characters were taking the material very seriously, and it just felt like the story was lacking so much to where it comes off like bad, like laughably bad, because the characters are so serious, but it's just like there's constant like head scratcher moments, and the reason I'm being so vague on a lot of this is I don't want to spoil the film for people that do want to check it out. It's brand new, and most people aren't going to get a chance to see it till a little bit later, so I don't want to give away exactly what I'm talking about, but it involves the djinn and the wishes and stuff like that. It just seems like even the time, like there's one scene where a character gets like hurt really bad and is in bandages and stuff, and I'm like, okay, so like did like a couple months go by? Like it's not really explained at all, and that's a problem. Anyway, I just didn't really care for this one that much. I wanted to like it. I like these be careful what you wish for stories, and these stories of wish things. Like I love the Wishmaster films, and even the character development with the lead was kind of cool at first, right? Because it's like this failure thing, and I do think that there was something there with that, the feeling of having to return home and, sort of eat your words or whatever because you didn't really become what you thought you would, and, the disappointment in that. I like that aspect. There was so much more you could have did with the wish things, like stuff that didn't even require money. The wish things were so basic, and I don't know, it was just kind of weak. The ending was also kind of very predictable. We've seen this time and time again. I think it's stuff like, I'm actually not going to say because that would spoil it, but there's literally a movie I watched a couple weeks ago. There's the exact same end, exact same end. Which in that film, I think the ending's weak. They actually have a better ending in the deleted. The alternate ending is actually even better in that film that I'm referencing. So this film's ending is really weak. It's you know what, I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna give this film a 4.5 out of 10. It's a weak movie. I did stick around for the Q&A afterwards, and honestly, I just felt bad. Like everybody involved feels it to me. It seems like they think they made a good movie, and maybe I'm just wrong, but I did not get that vibe at all, and I didn't get the vibe that they knew it was bad and they're just selling it, so people see it. Like, I feel like people actually genuinely thought they made a decent movie here, or not even decent, but like good, scary and good. It pains me to see like Lynn Shay, and Tony Todd and these respectable people, in this, but they've done worse things. Honestly, they've both done worse things than this. I will say that like some of the people in the audience were like taught, like after the, like during the Q&A and after the Q&A, they were And this wasn't a this wasn't a live Q&A, like Lin Shaye wasn't there or anything. It's a video of a Q&A that they showed after the film. But the people in the audience that I was with, it wasn't too packed or anything, but they were, you know, talking smack, saying like how awful the acting was, and they'd said they'd never seen anything quite that bad. And, you know, maybe they haven't. I've definitely seen worse acting than what's in this film, but they, you know, a little bit more mainstream. Yeah, that's it, guys. Disappointing. This is only the second 2019 film that I've seen so far this year. The first one was, you know, okay. It was a good movie, nothing amazing, and this one was just weak, man. It was unfortunate too because it had potential. It had a little bit of atmosphere, a little bit of atmosphere, a little bit of scares. You know, that can go a long way, but the story was just, it was frustrating. So that's it, guys. I'll see you guys next time with another review. Thanks for watching. Peace.